All right, bro. This is the way it is. I told y'all weeks ago, months ago, years ago. The four horsewomen, the stable that is not really a stable, a group, Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, Mercedes, that was literally a play off of Ric Flair's Four Horsemen. So I don't know why in the world Charlotte fans keep trying to tell me that's not related. For the entirety, even the fact that you can go and see that Bayley and Mercedes were the first two outliers of those four. Vince McMahon made sure to let you know for his entire career that the only two that he cared about are Becky and Charlotte. And now Triple H is like, oh, we're in the new era of wrestling. And we're still in the era of giving things to Becky and Charlotte that they don't need. And that's at the expense of Bayley. Bayley deserves better. They're trying to do this whole WWE unreal thing. They're trying to do this whole WWE. Oh, we're gonna take you backstage and show you. I'm seeing the writers table, whole bunch of men, no women, no people of color, just a whole bunch of men telling what the women's division is gonna do. And obviously they haven't been doing it right because the only two people that they can keep pushing are Becky and Charlotte for all of this time. Y'all did this on SmackDown a few weeks ago. Kaden and Katana, a real tag team. As boring as Shayna and Zoe have been presented, a real tag team. B-Fab and Michin, they're not a real tag team. Alba and Piper, they're a real tag team now because they're in the stable, the Secret Harvest with Chelsea Green. Maxie and Natalia, they've been trying to make them a real tag team. And then you have Bayley and Lyra, who also are not a real tag team. And day one. Lyra, who's the Intercontinental Champion, barely defends her belt. Now she's in a tag team championship position. This is not a thing on Lyra. Lyra's booking is its own problem. But the fact that y'all have multiple actual tag teams in this match. Kane and Katana are right there. I don't know how WWE sees Kane and Katana right there and they're not tag team champions and they're not being presented every week. But you're building these tag teams that are just putting them in the thin air. Michin and B-Fab just started one week. They had a backstage interaction. They just put them together one week. You have actual, established, real women's tag teams on your roster, and you just drop them because you try to push storylines that aren't good. So Bayley and Lyra run the entire gauntlet and win. And then you go all the way to WrestleMania telling us that Bayley and Lyra, they're basically in a coexist ass tag team because they just had a match for the IC Championship on Raw. So they're coexisting all the way to WrestleMania. Meanwhile, you already gave up on the Bayley and Roxanne feud that was right there. Y'all just dropped that out of thin air. Bayley gets put in this tag team thing. Roxanne is on the pre-show of Stand and Deliver, and she walks out. Now she's getting another championship match against Stephanie tonight, which realistically, Roxanne needs to be on the main roster. Now, I don't know why she's still treading water in NXT. Don't get that. And you have Bayley just going on for the ride. And then, right before WrestleMania, right before Showtime, Bayley gets written off. She gets attacked backstage. Now she got a torn labrum. Now she got all this. It already came out that Bayley's not really injured. So y'all brought her out there, had her get written off, drop her and say, you know what? You know who we need? We need Becky Lynch. We need something new. We need something fresh. We need Becky Lynch to come back from, if you watch her post-conference, her post-show conference thing, she was just taking a break. And she was waiting for the correct creative. And the correct creative was win the tag team championships at WrestleMania for a little less than a day, lose them on Raw. The next night, win them on WrestleMania. The next night, lose them, and then do an anticlimactic ass heel turn against Lyra. And the crowd doesn't even care because Lyra isn't a big enough face for the crowd to care. And they're not gonna boo Becky after she just came back last night. Who's writing this? And again, all of this is at the expense of Bayley. I don't know if y'all remember. Before WrestleMania 40, before she ended up winning the Rumble and beating Io Sky at WrestleMania 40, she came off of one of the longest, and I do mean the longest losing streak in the history of the company. Go look. It's all there. I watched every episode of SmackDown, and Bayley just got pinned every single week, repeatedly, over and over and over and over and over again. Meanwhile, Charlotte comes back from injury. Immediately Royal Rumble win. Meanwhile, Becky comes back from just not wanting to wrestle for a little bit, gets put in a tag team championship, wins the belts for 24 hours, maybe less, and then drops them back to do a heel turn. So she's probably going to win the mid-card championship that she doesn't need to win in the first place. So the right creative was giving Becky Lynch 2 championships that she doesn't need? And I see the narrative is starting now like, we boo Becky for something, but we don't boo Charlotte. We don't boo Charlotte for anything, but it's like, and I'm like, no, they're both one and the same. I just respect Becky a little bit more because she doesn't have this famous name she came in. But I can't really do too much of that because she's as overpushed as Charlotte is. They're both one and the same. It's not a competition. Charlotte just ends up having more championships. But both of them get put in these positions, whether they like it or not. I can't tell whether they like it or not. I'm not back there. All I know is what I see. And what I see on TV is Charlotte and Becky consistently get championships that they don't need. Over and over again. Opportunities. Title matches that they don't need. Don't tell me, oh, Charlotte put over all these people. Becky put over those people. Yeah, they have to lose the belt at some point. What did Bayley do ever to be treated like the black sheep of the 4 horsewomen? Mercedes got more love than her. And they kicked her out the damn company damn near. Last night, WWE showed you Julia is the future. Roxanne Perez is the future. Stephanie is the future. Io Sky is the future. Rhea, Bianca, Liv, Tiffany, they're still the future as well. You can say they're the present. They can be the present and the future. Same thing. This company is never going to advance the way they want it to until they just stop pushing the horsewomen for everything. And I have to exempt Bayley from that because they don't push her the way they push Becky and Charlotte. I don't know why we're acting like they do. Charlotte fans, Becky fans, any other fan of the Bayley fans, I'm not doing this stuff to attack you as a fan. I'm doing this stuff because the company that we all watch does these things for a specific reason. It's not the fans' fault. That's why we can't have these conversations anymore. Because every time we bring a superstar to the front and we're like, hey, we don't hate the superstar. I don't hate Becky or Charlotte. I hate their booking. I don't care about them personally. I don't know them personally. I'm a spectator to a wrestling program. It's not that serious. All I see is what I see on TV. That's all I go off of. I try my best to only go off that. And what I've gone off of for my entire time of watching wrestling in this modern era is Becky and Charlotte getting pushed to the top while Bayley gets on losing streaks. They give her championships, do nothing with them. They have her win the Rumble, do nothing with it. And they push Mercedes out the company. If you bring up the 4 horsewomen and say, for the next few years, care about these 4. And then somewhere in the line, y'all cut it in half? And y'all alienate one and bury the other? And now you have these 2 who are just always at the top? There's an imbalance here. Why doesn't Bayley have all the championship opportunities that Charlotte and Becky have? Why doesn't Bayley get immediate creative? You can make the argument that Bayley is the most creative out of all 4 of them. She always finds a way to make it work. Face, heel, ding dong, hello, all this stuff that she can do. And she doesn't get treated like it because she's not Becky and she's not Charlotte. Again, fans, if you're a fan of these 2, this is not an attack on you. This is explaining the problem with the WWE. I understand when people say Bayley should go AEW. I don't really trust Tony Khan that much, but I understand it. I don't think AEW is going to save Bayley's career, but she shouldn't be in a position where she has to go to AEW. She's been here for her entire time, as far as I know. So why does it go Becky, Charlotte, and Mercedes kind of all the way up here, but Bayley's always getting the short end of the stick every single time? It doesn't matter if you like her. It doesn't matter if you dislike her. There's an imbalance. There's a power imbalance. And if you don't see that, I don't know what you're watching. Bayley is on interviews doubting herself when she damn near might be the best wrestler out of the 4. But she doesn't get treated like it. They treat her like she's expendable. This isn't about the fans. This isn't about who you like. This is about Bayley not getting treated the way she should. That's it.